Yes.
That was anticlimactic. I was hoping it was a big one.
Your big one is anticlimactic.
Dude, you don't even want to know what the fuck I've been up to the past few days. It's been bad, dude.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
All right, welcome back to Dime Comic Bros podcast. We are all three together, united as one, like a one-legged Voltron, which means he's handicapped, but he's a really big dick.
Yeah, so we're like the third leg.
Yeah, right. We were supposed
Jacob
to talk
is the
about
fat cock.
fat, but not very long. I'm not.
You
a
don't
tall
want
guy.
long. You want fat.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Girth.
We were supposed to talk about Spider-Man Blue this week, but it turns out that it's still kind of out of print, sort of. When we plan to do these color trades, the Marvel was reprinting them in, I believe, the Treasury Edition, size, but they just haven't gotten to Spider-Man yet, and so that ruins our schedule. So it's just gonna be a freaking whatever goes kind of episode.
So I guess to kick it off with the topic of choice between the three of us, Creature Commandos was surprisingly good.
Yes.
Wow. I was waiting for Collin to have the contrarian opinion.
No,
but I guess it's going to be me.
Wow. I mean, of course, there's obviously some problems and some things are boring. And it's like, this is our first, this is our first thing of media that has to do with the new universe. And I have problems because James Gunn doesn't want to get rid of his favorite little toys. And now we have this. Well, no, it's fine. You can have these characters, but to have them still connected to the old universe, because they are, is hella fucking confusing. He is literally telling us, hey, everything the same, all their interactions from the first movie in Peacemaker, they all exist, except for that scene where the Justice League was there. Just ignore that. Everything else is real.
I don't mind it so much. It's a hell of a lot better than the last couple cycles we've had from DC, where they just reboot and reboot. That's been way more confusing than what he's doing right now.
But I do agree with the point that he is selecting his own toys from the previous play blocks. The Suicide Squad and Peacemaker are mostly canon, but as a memory type thing. But with this show, I kind of started to fuck with it. I didn't think I would like the soft reboot idea. I wanted something hard and it's solid. And then it's
pause.
My point was that it could be a lot worse. The past couple DC reboots have been way worse than James Gunn saying this is canon and this is not. It's much easier to jump in on this one.
Kind of. I mean, what we initially had for a DC universe was Zach's stuff, and that was super easy to follow until Warner Brothers was like, hey, yeah, your daughter died, right? Yeah, we're going to fuck with everything that you have.
And that was 5 minutes in. So we have this weird mixed bag of half canon, non-canon. Some stuff got screwed with, some stuff wasn't. And then from where I'm sitting, on the one hand, it's annoying that James Gunn is basically on Twitter every other day confirming what is not canon and what is not canon. But I'd rather have him be clear about it, from the get, and be okay, so Peacemaker is 95% canon except the Justice League cameo, and that implies And that implies that basically all of the Suicide Squad is at least canon, like from a glance, because, we know that Rick Flag Jr. is dead and so on and so forth. So like I was really hesitant on this when they had announced it was going to be like a soft reboot thing. But I think this project, aside from the specifics of like how it played out and how it was fun and blah, 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 like as a universe mechanic to introduce us to the new DCU, I actually thought it worked a lot better than I thought it was going to. We had a bunch of new locations, countries, people, like organizations, just all introduced out the gate. So we have a decent ground level to kind of work off of.
It definitely took me 3 or 4 episodes to get into it, because out of the gate it felt like it had the same humor style as like Harley Quinn, and it just didn't really hit. It has that same flavor, and like when you watch a new Adult Swim show and you're like, oh, this is just Rick and Morty yet again. It was kind of the same feeling for me for this, but it changed and became its own thing, and that's when I think that it got good.
I agree.
I completely disagree with the Harley Quinn thing, because the whole Harley Quinn show is saturated in this whole modern like viewpoint. It's saturated in this, let's make fun of men, let's do this, let's do that. It's got this like modern feminist like outlook on shit, which can be fine and can be useful, because there are points where it's like, oh yeah, they're absolutely right about this. Oh, this group of people, yeah, they are actually like super incel and like are the scum of the earth.
I didn't mean content. I meant more how the dialogue is structured and line delivery felt very much the same.
I just don't see it, but
maybe the first episode or two were a little like not shaky, but a little like, oh, I've seen this before. And then once we really started hampering down on the character specific episodes,
exactly.
Holy fucking shit.
Dude, the Weasel episode is my favorite episode.
He's literally you.
Bro is literally me. I am literally Weasel. Every time I saw G.I. Robot, all I could think about was Jacob.
Interesting.
So I love how Spencer loves G.I. Robot, because Spencer's, I'm inserted. I'm the inserted hating Nazi man, but like, but it's so funny because Spencer,
he's so
you
simple.
are the guy. But Spencer is so also the guy the Nazi who found G.I. Robot. It's so weird because I don't know how to explain it, because Jacob is
simple.
I don't know, dude.
Can I shoot him? Is he a Nazi?
Yeah,
I'm gonna shoot him.
And they're like, it's like the same humor or like the cadence of how he talks is just you. And I'm like, oh my word, that's Jacob.
You're okay. You're kind of right.
Stuck in the future.
You are kind of right. I hate that, because I want him to be literally me, because that's like my
Eric.
A little. So are you.
Dude, I'm telling you, the more I watched that, I was like, okay, I'm definitely not him. There's like 2 moments where I'm like, oh yeah, that's him, that's me. But the entirety of Eric is you, except for you can at least take a hint. What I'm talking about is this whole like super poetic stuff, like.
Ah, yes, she and I were created to be together.
Like, you're so romantic.
She flirts with me by killing me, and then I come back and I flirt with her by killing her.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know, I get it.
Oh yeah.
You're just hopeless romantic.
You're right. I'm with you on that. Hell yeah, the white monster. Oh, give me that through the screen, mom. me. I guess my biggest hesitance with this would have been the world building. I thought opening up on an animated show was probably a little bit of a budget thing. Like, we need to get the ball rolling, but we have to start slow and blah, blah, blah. And James Gunn works really well with making like a team of misfits that you give a shit about and all that stuff, which is totally fine. I just didn't expect to give as much of a shit about these people as I did. When the show started, I was like, I like these characters. It's a cool lineup, whatever. But by the end, I was like, every single one has had their own episode, or like Rick Flag Sr. is just in the background consistently. And I love that. I love how evenly written it was. Like, from the outset, it wasn't designed to necessarily be like a world building piece or a first entry in the DCU. It just kind of did its own thing, and then through the characters and the settings, it gave us a lot of information to work with as to what the universe looks like now, but still maintain focus on the creatures in the Commandos, you know? And I think that's pretty impressive, to be honest.
I knew from the beginning that I was going to be heartbroken because Weasel was a part of it. I knew the only character I was going to care about at first was... I was surprised I cared about almost every character, but I wasn't surprised about Weasel. I knew it, because especially after watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and what he did with Rocket, it's like, yeah, of course he's going to do the same thing with this weird fucking looking guy. The weirdest looking, most fucked up in the brain guy, they're going to do something with him, and it's going to break my heart. I knew it.
I mean, yeah, no, for sure. And to be fair, in the Suicide Squad, we don't see Weasel do anything really other than like have a fake death and then come back. Like, we don't, it's not retconning anything. It's just, I don't know if it's a dude mutated into a weasel or vice versa, but it's like, he just wants friends to like play fetch with. And it's the cutest thing in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, the way the way that they animated him was excellent. And I don't know, man. Like, that episode in particular was like the turning point for me of like, this is pretty good and I like this, to like, holy shit, I'm so in this.
Yes. Also, Abe Sleepian Lady is amazing.
I was just about to say, my biggest complaint probably that I'll keep on the air is that her character doesn't have an easily remembered nickname. We need something, a superhero name, and the name that we have in the show, or something. But she's the only one that I literally can't name. She's just female Abe Sapien, because
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I agree
you have
with that.
Weasel, you got the Bride, you got G.I. Robot, you got Dr. Phosphorus.
Right. All these cool names, and then Nina.
Yeah, like on the one hand, it makes sense because she really, really isn't a villain and has done nothing. But also, like, yeah, for us, the audience, it would help to have some sort of a name moving forward. But also, she's dead now. So, rip. Like,
I forgot about that. That makes me really fucking pissed off. That's what's my life.
Rolling back real quick, Dr. Phosphorus, I do really like that character in the comics. I love when he pops up. Alan Tudyk is an incredible voice actor, so I expected he would be great. But they didn't just have him have a good tragic backstory. He's basically Dr. Manhattan, whatever. But like, the scene of him wandering into some, Bavaria, like Bavarian household, and like playing with the kid and feeding her. One, it reminded me of Doctor Who season, what was that? The first Matt Smith episode.
Yep.
It's I think it's seasons
Doesn't matter.
season 5, whatever. But like that episode of him just like hanging out with Amy as a kid was really heartwarming, as well as him having goons.
I knew you were going to get to that, dude.
He has goons.
Okay, hold on. Why are you so obsessed with this? Like, why is this such a thing in your brain? I don't get it.
Lego Batman.
No, I know, but like, it's not like we don't have goons.
No, I mean like branded, like in the gang goons, not just like, well, this Italian guy will shoot you, but like they're a part of the crew. They're all wearing funny outfits. They all have like face paint on or whatever.
I still think you're making this way bigger of a deal than it is. Because,
maybe
like,
so, but I just fuck with it. It's great.
I get it. Well, yeah, but like it's nothing huge to applaud because we see this all the time anyways. Branded goons, like in every media, like not often in live action. I'll give you that, and that's probably where this started with your fixation. But like for the past couple of years, anything we've gotten DC with animated, there's goons that are branded, like Batman the Caped Crusader and shit like that.
Maybe, I don't know. It might just be a brainworm. I just don't care.
It is a brainworm.
They had a coordinated dance number, and I lost my shit. I don't care. Fuck you in the butt.
Like that shit was so dumb. But like, I loved how I was so surprised. I was surprised.
So
okay, we're done talking about the goons. It's stupid. We're done. You're done. You're just gonna say the same shit over and over again. One thing that really surprised me was that one of the biggest Batman mob players is immediately killed out of the get-go. Immediately. Like, yeah, not many people know about him because everyone knows Maroni and Falcone, but, like, he was huge in BTAS, and they immediately out him. Like, he's just dead. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. He gets all his money.
Are you talking Clayface?
What's that?
Are you talking Clayface?
No, Mob Boss. He's the guy that turned Dr. Phosphorus into Dr. Phosphorus.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he was huge in BTAS. Like, he was like the mob boss guy.
Yeah.
And he's immediately killed, and Dr. Phosphorus takes all his money and everything, and it was really cool because I was like, wait a minute, what is Dr. Phosphorus doing in Gotham? Because, hear me out, no one knows Dr. Phosphorus outside of comics except through Batman Beyond, who is Blight. But we all know, as people who read comics, every single Batman Beyond villain is just a futuristic version of older Batman villains.
I can sell real estate, but better now that I'm irradiated.
Shut the fuck up. Whether they are like ones that we are aware of, like ones that we know for a fact, like the Joker gang. Of course, that's the Joker, but they like to use a lot of villains that weren't popular, like Dr. Phosphorus. They made a new one, Blight, and of course, you have the ones from the Batman Beyond movie, which they showed like a version of Scarecrow, which was the new guy, even though he was a part of Joker's like new crew, stuff like that. And then the twins are literally Harley's grandchildren, and they're supposed to be like Harley Quinn, but like split. But yeah, I totally forgot that Dr. Phosphorus is a Batman villain, and then they show like a silhouette of Batman, which is cool. I don't care that they keep doing that they keep showing, hey, look, it's the Justice League. Whoa, is that Superman? Whoa, this is the silhouette of Batman. What's he look like? I'm like, I don't care. Just, like, show it to me when you have the live-action movie. I don't care that he's a big, beefy Batman. I don't care about the silhouette. Oh, he's got trunks. Yeah, no shit, we're getting a Batman with trunks. Like, yeah, all these things that everyone's getting surprised by pisses me off. Because it's like, no fucking shit. You can assume all this shit just from the Superman trailer.
Yes. All of the characters you see in the visions that Cersei has and shares, some of them obviously like Supergirl or whatever are like, obviously that's what she's going to to look like in her upcoming movie. But the rest of them, they're basically placeholders, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's going to happen. Like, we have, like, Brave and the Bold is in production. It's gonna take forever to hear anything. So, like, they're just gonna put in a Batman that's like, I don't know, maybe he looks like this, and that's totally fine. Like, it's not, that doesn't get, like, it doesn't necessarily, like, not get me excited, but it doesn't then get me like, oh, he's gonna look exactly like this and he's gonna have the trunks.
Well,
I'm sure
it pisses me off because it just, all it's doing is making people talk about it and making people, like, come up with theories, which this is either a, hey, this is fan service, or it's a, hey, come up with theories so we can steal your ideas.
Low-key, yeah, and, like, I respect that. Like, wazoo.
I don't.
That's fair. I get the idea of, like, we have, you know, in Cersei's visions, we have, like, Superman and Supergirl and a couple of other, like, Peacemaker and whatever. We have some characters, we already know what they look like in live action, and the rest of them are, like, it's a guesstimate. Whenever they get a live action project, the look will change, and that's fine. It's more so just to represent that they do exist, and I'm totally cool with that. Like, whatever. I don't want to read into it too much because it's not intended to be read into.
It's not intended to be read into. Don't fucking do it. That's how this works. It's just dangling a carrot in your fans' face and then trying to get free stuff from them, because it's just, let me put placeholders in here. It's like, no shit. We know who's in the Justice League. We know who the core characters are. Everyone does. Show us live action shit, or give us this is exactly what they look like. Like, seeing Superman, yeah, that's fine. It's like, yeah, this is exactly what he looks like. Don't give me other bullshit. Give me what it is, or not at all. I'm sick of it because we've had this for years.
I understand that. I do disagree, but I do understand. Like, it's kind of like mentally tiring to kind of just see and be like, well, maybe they'll be like that. But I get that. I do get that. Mm-hmm. I just, it doesn't bother me. The one biggest gripe that I have with this first season, because it did get renewed, which is kind of awesome, is the main plot with Bavaria and the princess is not anything particularly exceptional. It's just basic, like, espionage shit. Like, oh, maybe she's gonna own the world, or maybe she won't. Who knows? Like, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Agreed. It does derail the episodes that are all specific to a particular member of the Creature Commandos, with, like, those major plot elements of, like, well, this is the overarching such and such and such and such and whatever. And, like, I don't have a suggestion or an idea how to get around that. That's whatever. I'm not going to, like, complain about it like it's a big problem, but I preferred all of the flashbacks in those episodes to the main plot, other than the main plot's action sequences, which I was genuinely
supposed to.
Maybe. And that's totally fine if it is.
Well, let's take example any story that has to do with a group of people. The whole point of these stories is that you're here for the group of people. You're not here for what they're doing. Like, you don't give a shit. They're never. It doesn't matter. All it is, it's a MacGuffin, really. It's just a MacGuffin, and the whole point is that, and you could tell because they put so much detail into the characters, because the whole point of the show is about these characters, not about what they're trying to stop or what they're trying to do. That's just hey, this is why they're all together and how they're all together, and this is how they become a team. There's no way to get around it. There's no reason to get around it, and they never should. I find that that's just how this works in literature. And for people to try to find people who have a problem with that are the same type of people who have a problem with Colin Farrell being the Penguin. My point is that they're just trying to find something to fucking complain about.
I do follow.
I had a revelation, completely unrelated, last night. I'm disappointed because the legend is that Zack Snyder went to Disney with his super cool Star Wars movie, and they said, no, we won't let you make a Star Wars movie. And so he made his movie anyway, but changed some of the names. He should have gone to the Warhammer people and just made a Warhammer movie instead. Because those guys will approve anything using their EP. You can tell looking at all the video games that have ever been made. Rebel Moon should have just been a Warhammer movie, and it would have done so much better.
Holy shit, you're right.
I agree.
I still enjoy what we got.
Yeah.
Holy shit, yeah. Also, that's so up his alley too. Big, beefy men killing big, beefy monsters.
And it would have probably made it better too, because the lore is already established. He would have just had to play by the rules, basically.
Right. Yeah, you just have to play by the rules. Lore's already established, and also, let's be honest, the lore of Warhammer's cool and all, but it's another Godzilla thing. We're not here to care about, what's the morals of the story and blah blah blah. No, we're here to see fucking big monsters kill other monsters and kill human beings. That's kind of the whole point of Warhammer.
I do agree.
However,
I just agree. My other big positive for Creature Commandos that I was not expecting is I actually really liked the animation. It was obviously done, not rushed, but a little on the cheap. It wasn't like, it's not the best thing in the world, but
they didn't cheap out on the ass though.
They did not cheap out on the ass. I guess my bigger point,
simply put, is that it's a hell of a lot better than the last couple of animated movies.
Yes. My point being that I think this being an outlet for James Gunn, every movie or a couple of movies in this new universe that he wants to be involved with, to have an outlet for kind of stupid, horny, over-the-top, grotesque shit is a great idea.
Yep,
like,
I agree.
Because that's where he came from. He came from low-budget horror. That's what he knows best. And if, after Superman, he's going to inevitably write or direct another movie in this new universe. Let him have another season of Creature Commandos to just kind of fuck around and just do stupid shit. And I think that that's really cool, like from a personal perspective, like thinking about that as a creative person, having an outlet of, he goes from writing, he started this and then started writing and then decided to direct Superman, which is like a deeply personal him and his father and like all that stuff, to like, well, this show was successful enough, we could do more of it. Just blow off some edgelord steam. And I think that that's pretty fucking cool. I don't know. I'm just kind of attached to that idea.
I have to agree.
I don't think I have many other thoughts.
Yeah, me either.
I will definitely rewatch it.
Yes. All the budget went into the ass and titties. Oh, actually, no. 50% of the budget went into the amount of frames they gave the bride for walking. She has way more frames than any other character. She seriously does, because they put so much detail into her hips going up and down.
I agree. That, I guess, is another positive to this, is
No, he's right.
I appreciate how simultaneously horny and also like over the top and grotesque and grody and bloody and whatever this is, but it doesn't feel weird or gross like pretty much ever. There are, some themes here and there you can pick up on, but most of it is just like, I don't know. It feels not innocent. That seems so wrong, but it
feels like all the characters are adults.
Yes,
and there's a common agreement among that.
To use a term, it feels unproblematic. Like it's equally horny and equally grody and equally bloody for basically everyone. And it's just kind of him blowing off some steam and writing some weird characters that he likes.
I think the only thing that was actually problematic that I saw was the princess and people talking about how, like, oh, she's underage. Like, what the fuck, blah, 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 blah. I don't think we know what her age is yet. I think that people were only saying that because she's not queen yet. But remember, she's not queen because her mom's alive.
I agree. I do think, like, from a writing perspective, you could probably make that clearer. But she's certainly not underage. And I think that the setting up an interesting dynamic for Rick Flag Sr., who will be in future DCU projects, with the basically the plot element of this series, I think is a good idea. Like I fucked with it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. Nothing about it like inherently seemed dicey or gross. It was more the general. He was on the job and he's like, no, but like I'm so into this, but I'm on the job.
Right.
So like
he was trying to not be into it.
Right. Like from a writing perspective, you could definitely make that like clearer, but big whoop. Like it's a pretty minor gripe. Overall thoughts. I'm way more impressed with this show than I thought I was going to be.
Yeah. I think I'm all set with talking about this. I think we said what we wanted to.
I read a book.
How dare you know how words work?
It's a Marvel Max book.
Motherfucker.
No way, dude.
Yes.
Surprise.
It came out this year, I think.
What?
Well, last year?
Marvel
I don't know,
Max is dead. What are you talking about?
The single issues are still on the shelves. Yeah, it came out in 2024. I read Get Fury.
It's a Black Label book, man.
That's DC. It literally says Max.
What the I'm gonna
Spencer,
lose my...
you're really dumb.
Yeah, you're being dumb.
Collin, it's midnight and I'm kind of tired and buzzed. Leave me alone.
Aren't you night shift, fuck ass?
Yes, and I have a date in the morning, okay?
It's written by Garth Ennis and illustrated.
Ennis.
Garth Ennis. It's penciled by Jason Burrows and inked by Guillermo Ortego and colored by Nolan Woodard. Nick Fury is captured sometime in between like issues 2 and 3 of the Nick Fury Marvel Max run that I talked about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. It's during the Vietnam era, and they send in the Punisher to go save him. And there's a whole lot of talking, and that's kind of it. This series was kind of disappointing. It was a lot of it was a lot more contemplative, I guess. It was a lot of political games between different groups of people, and Punisher walks in and saves Nick Fury and then walks out. And there's twists, but I really don't know why, but I did not connect with the series very much at all. It's kind of violent. It definitely deserves the Marvel Max printing or branding, I guess, because it's bloody, but it's nothing crazy or out of the ordinary, I guess, for like a I don't know. I didn't really get it. I almost felt like it's narrated by a Vietnamese character, and I was wondering the whole time if I should have known who this guy was, if it was a callback to previous Garth Ennis Marvel Max works, like the Nick Fury book that I just read 2 weeks ago. I think he was in there, and it felt like I should have caught on better than I did, but I don't know. It was kind of boring. I got it for $18 at 6 issues, and it's just fine.
That's a shame, because I was actually a little looking forward to that. I cannot believe they're still printing anything under the Max label, because that went defunct like 10 years ago.
I think this is a trial run to bring it back, or to try to bring it back.
They saw all of Jacob's search history, and they saw that he was funding the Max series all on his lonesome. And
seriously, I have more than half.
That's true.
Yeah, dude. I think you're the only one with like a legit collection of the Max series.
Jacob, all of this is your fault.
Yeah.
I want it back.
You manifested into it.
I remember announcing this like on the show during the news, so maybe I'll be more into it, but it's a shame that you didn't. I read a while ago now, actually, because our schedule has been so dog shit. X-Men 92, the Saga continues, which is a compilation of a couple of other trades. So the X-Men animated universe made a comeback during the 2015 Secret Wars, just as a 4-issue little bloop, just for some funsies. And then it got revived and brought back. It got revived for 10 issues, as well as the House of X, but in the X-Men 92 universe. You know, in the animated series, they did House of X, and it's all collected in one book. So this is surprisingly good. The initial miniseries was primarily about the Shadow King and a version of what's her name? Professor X's sister, kind of bringing mutants.
Horny bald lady.
Yes. Bringing mutants into like a new school where they can be indoctrinated and made as like representatives of the mutant race moving forward. And I thought that was actually really cool. It's written by Chad Powers, who writes most of the books I'm about to talk about. The illustrations were a little back and forth on quality, but I thought that most of them were very good. In the main sequel, real actual X-Men 92 line, which is 10 issues, they were still written by Chad Powers and illustrated by a bunch of different people, and they were all really cool. So this is some really ridiculous shit. So we have the original animated series, all of the adaptation stuff I've already talked about on the show. And before the new X-Men 97 revival, this universe floated in limbo. So they just made a bunch of really weird shit, which is non-canon to X-Men 97, but I honestly thought was mostly fantastic. So in the first few issues, they encounter another version of the Weapon X, basically, program. And it turns out he's a vampire. Sorry. Omega program. So he's like Omega Red, but worse. Turns out he's a vampire, and he's also the son of Dracula. Don't ask questions. So this like entire 10-issue run is about the world of the X-Men animated series being overcome by vampirism, and it's fucking awesome. It's really ridiculous and super over the top, but the vast majority of the art is fan-fucking-tastic. This book, like the collected edition of all of the books of what I'm currently talking about, is, I think, where they perfected we're going to do the animated series, but in a comic form, but the visuals actually like look good. It is simplified and streamlined. Collin, what are you cracking open? That is a Stoneface IPA.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yes.
Oh, and he's decanting it. Oh, my gosh. Boy is learning. I'm so proud of you.
I've been muted because I've been stimming from what Spencer's been saying. And
I know.
I know that I'm very loud, so I have to mute myself now.
I appreciate that, but also I can tell.
Oh, look at the head on that. Oh,
I love head.
Me too. It's the best. It's better. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
So these 10 issues are genuinely really good. They are very they're not meta in the sense of like, oh, they're aware that they're in the animated universe or whatever, but they take into account so much of the X-Men lore after the animated series had come out, that it feels really cohesive, I guess. So I really like that. The vast majority of the art was phenomenal. And then the end of this trade is the what if the House of X, which Collin has no idea what that is.
I do,
House of
actually.
X.
Fuck you.
That's a rare occurrence.
I know random things.
The House of X / Powers of 10 storyline occurred, but in this like mostly animated universe, and it's really shallow because so much of Hickman's House of X and Powers of 10 is really deeply rooted lore and like character history from 40 years ago and blah blah blah. It comes across as extremely superficial, but it's still a really good fucking time. That chunk, which you can buy in a separate trade, is written by Steve Fox. So doing like this massive tone change, lore change, whatever, to this like X-Men animated universe with this big old event that changed so much of X-Men comics moving forward for like 5 years is awesome. It's just incredibly surface level. Jacob, I'm speaking directly to you because you've actually read this series, like the real House of X and the real House of X and Powers of 10. Effectively, Moira McTaggart is Jubilee. It has less of the implications of what the real run has, but effectively, like, Jubilee dies in the line of battle, but not really, and she's a secret and all that stuff. It was really fun. It does not mean anything remotely beyond the surface. It's just a cute little homage to like House of X and Powers of 10, but with the animated universe's characters, and I thought that was pretty fun. I didn't like get involved with it or whatever, but it was cute. It was a nice little effort to show some respect to recent comic events. So that in total, it's 4 trades collected in one large trade that I bought for $40. The price is a steal because even if you have no knowledge or experience with the animated series or anything else, it's just a really good book to read. It's fucking ridiculous, but it's a real good time. The art across the board from, I think, 3 or 4 primary like pencilers is incredibly well done. The coloring is fantastic. And it was generally just like a hoot. Like, I think I tend not to write off a book as like, it's a good time. That means it's like fantastic. But before we knew that X-Men 97 would be greenlit and all that stuff, this was like a cute little placeholder for that universe. And I'm so glad that I read this.
That's wild.
Collin, what have you read recently?
I read Batman, the new one. It's like Batman Dark something.
Dark Patterns?
Yeah, Batman Dark Patterns.
Issue 1?
Yep, issue 1.
I just read issue 2 like 5 minutes ago.
Damn. I didn't know that issue 2 came out yet, and I didn't get it yet. Anyways, I read the first issue. Excuse me. I'm still like looking through the absolute stuff because I still have Wonder Woman stuff to read too. But I saw this because of drawings, like panels that were put on Twitter. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. I'm like, whoa, I really like that Batcave. It's like, oh, the mixing of this type of Batcave, that Batmobile, and this Batsuit. Also, I've always had a problem with the oval bat, like the yellow circle and everything. I've always had a problem with that. I've never liked that. Having it like a legit just circle, big ass fucking circle, like it's the Superman S that's huge. And it's just a big ass circle that looks like the bat signal. I was like, whoa, this does something to me. Like, this is really fucking cool. And this was like, it's another one of those Batman properties for me that's like, whoa, this is like all of my favorite things I liked as a kid put into one again. Like, I know I said that about like 2022's The Batman, which is true, but this does it in a different way, and especially it's in the way of like a comic. So I'm going to talk a lot about the art mainly because the first issue, it's Detective Batman, you know, which I love Detective Batman. It's just another crime that's happened. Oh, look, a guy that works at the morgue, he's
dude, the art for this series is incredible.
Yep. So let me get to this. I've always had a problem with Batcaves because everyone kind of just does the same bullshit, and it's hard to make like a really distinct Batcave. But this guy added these greens to the Batcave. I'm like, whoa, that's a weird light. Like, because it's usually like blues or it's reds or whatever, but someone used green. This guy used green, and it just gives this weird aspect to like Batman's unsettling. Like, he is just gross and weird. I also want to talk about the Batmobile. Someone talked about the Batmobile a while back because I also have a problem with so many different Batmobiles. As much as I love BVS, the Batmobile is weird to me. Doesn't feel right. Every single time that we have like a military type of Batmobile bothers me. And I do love the Batman. I love the Batmobile that it is. And I couldn't figure out why I like this Batmobile so much compared to other ones. And I also always had a very much like love for the 1960s Batmobile. It's because these are actual cars. Like, because think about the purpose of a Batmobile. Sure, in certain versions, Batman's car is a tank. That can be had, but that wasn't really around until Frank Miller, and then people ran with that shit. Like the Dark Knight trilogy did that, and that Batmobile doesn't stick out to me. That Batmobile never really feels like a Batmobile. Now that I'm getting older, it doesn't feel like one. Because as a kid, of course, anything Batman that you're going to get as a kid, you're going to accept it immediately because he's Batman. I love Batman. I love him. You know? But now, as I get older, it's just different. But someone talked about, to get to the point, someone talked about the Batmobile, and they're like, it just makes sense to me that the Batmobile would be an old-ass fucking car that's souped up, because Batman's constantly stuck in the past. So, of course, it would be an old-ass car, and that's just another way to signify that he's stuck. He's never able, as the most optimistic character in DC, he's the most optimistic superhero. He's so stuck in the past. He can't get out of it. And I love that was implemented into a lot of our Batman stuff, like Cape Crusader, the Batman, now this. And it's just such a fantastic looking car. And the suit's great. It's basically just a normal bat suit, but the symbol is just a giant circle. It's just the bat signal on his chest. And I love that shit because it reminds me of some of Mike Mignola's Batman, because he did that too. And I always took a liking to that. But yeah, so far, fantastic. Art's fantastic. Batman acts like how he should. Weird stuff going on. I like some of the new villains that we're getting in these new Batman comics. This dude who's just... It's actually a really good villain, because Batman is like, I don't know how to fucking deal with this guy, because he is the wounded man. Like, he inflicts himself with pain in every single spot that won't kill him, but it's torturous. But if Batman tries to fight this guy, he could possibly kill him and harm himself. So how the fuck do you physically, like, detain this man or physically fight him? You can't. It's like you almost have to let him hurt you. And it's a super interesting take. As much as I don't like the design, I don't care for it, but the concept itself makes it work. The concept itself, like, fixes that problem for me. I can get over how he looks, but
Batman's gonna modify a t-shirt cannon to launch a straitjacket onto the guy.
He died. But no, yeah, pretty much. But one thing I'm liking is, from what I can tell from this first issue, is that this Batman is like a low-tech Batman, which I love. Low-tech Batman. He's not Bat-God, where he's just like, yeah, here's this thing. Here's this, like, yeah, you're immobilized because you're coming too much. Yeah, really good first issue. Solid. Art's amazing, dude. Batman's a detective. This thing is like, it so far, first issue, 10 Lysol wipes out of 10 car vacuum cleaner kits.
Dude, issue 2, I read it right before we turned on, like, the recording, is so good. This series of, especially the idea of, like, multiple stories written by the same guy but arted by somebody different, about, like, this weird transition period.
Yeah, my
so
media has only been, like, Batman stuff recently.
We know.
I read the 4th book in the Reckless series, written by Ed Brubaker and illustrated by Sean Phillips.
Holy shit, I never thought you'd get to this.
It actually writes Ethan Reckless out of the picture. He goes to San Francisco to solve another mystery, and his protege Anna steps up and solves a ghost story. And it's fun. It fills in a lot of her backstory and what she's got going on, and definitely builds up her character, which was kind of the point of the book. There's a whole bunch of stuff from Ed Brubaker saying, like, he wanted to take a minute and talk about Anna and make her more into a character. The afterword in this book, he's basically said he's kind of just making up the series as he goes, and he likes how much one book feeds into the next book, but it's very much just like he's kind of just making it up as he goes. He doesn't really have a plan. So the next book is going to be the mystery that Ethan just solved in San Francisco. But yeah, this is kind of just more of the same stuff. It was good. It was an interesting mystery. It was kind of cool that it dipped into some supernatural stuff because it was a ghost story, sort of. And the cool thing is I found this book at a local comic shop where I am not at home, and it came with a signed little doodad by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And I bought this book with this thing for cover price. So I got this thing for free, and it's wicked cool.
Speaking of a Ed Brubaker written thriller property, I don't remember which one, but which would
it could be Criminal.
It might be Criminal.
Fatale.
I think it's Criminal. Just one, it got greenlit a while ago, but the lead is confirmed to be played by Sebastian Stan, and I got so much more excited because he will put in the work.
And he'll be really good at it too. He fits, for sure. Cover price is $25. It's a little much, but it is a really thick trade, basically. So, I don't know. It's good. I'll keep reading.
Collin, you look like you have about you.
You look like you have something to say.
We're only doing one talking point, right?
Well, I mean, he just did 2. I can do 2. Can you do 2? Is the question.
I made it really quick.
Whoa! Hell yeah! Then
Batman,
we can make
Gargoyle of Gotham.
Issue 5 isn't out yet, you doof.
3.
Issue 4 isn't out yet, you doof.
Yeah, you fuck ass.
But also, it's Spencer's turn.
I'll let Collin go.
Thank you, Daddy. Gosh.
You're welcome, my son.
Oh, I'm so loved. I'm such a princess here.
Oh yeah, you're a pretty princess.
Oh yeah, you're a pretty princess, aren't you, darling?
Pretty princess, darling. Oh yeah,
I'm gonna goon all night. So Batman Gargoyle of Gotham. I've been waiting for that shit for so long, like how we all have. And I was talking to Rich about it. He's like, yeah, so they fucked up because he told them not to release the first issue because he hadn't. Once he finished the first issue, he only had a single page drawn for the second issue, and they immediately just like was like, yep, first issue out, and he's like, fuck. Raphael Grandpa was like, okay, cool. Fuck you guys, because this is going to be slow as hell now. And DC's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You can do this. And he's like, so get fucked. And that's why everything's been so slow, is because they didn't wait to at least let him finish issue 2. Because that's the bare minimum, is to let an artist finish the second issue for you to start releasing. Because once the first issue's out, you already have the second issue ready while he's working on the next one. It's like basic shit. So that's why we've been waiting for so long. It's been so long, I had to reread the first 2 issues. And because I was so confused on, I just couldn't remember a lot of things. This third issue didn't hit me as well as like the first one or even the second one. I think it's mainly because there's not a lot of Batman. It's more of a lot of the Rat Gang, even though they have like the Robin R. So they're like, it's some weird mixing of like, these guys look like Robins, but they are the Rat Boys. And it's like, whatever. Also, there's like a Joker cameo in this. It's just Kid Joker, but allegedly this kid was just dropped off at some random Hicks home by a clown. So it's either this is like the Joker as a kid, or it's Joker's kid, but it doesn't really matter because he's annoying and boring. And the crying man, they basically just takes him. He's like, yeah, I don't really want you. I don't think your dad wants you to come with me. And he's like, I'm not his dad. A clown just dropped him here. Please take him. He's awful. And the kid calls himself like Little Joker or whatever, and they're like a team. They killed some cops together, and it's like whatever. But then there's the cool like, oh, we're the Court of Owls, but we're not the Court of Owls type shit going on. I was mainly more interested in the girl that Gordon meets, who she's like been killing a bunch of people, and she's got these weird mystical powers. She's cool. I want more Batman stuff, but Batman's also, this Bruce Wayne is finally figuring out how shit humans are to like the homeless and stuff, because he's like, Batman got trapped somewhere and then he couldn't have his suit because it was all fucked up, so he finally got out of the rat cave, and he goes and he's in this like the train system, like the underground train. What the fuck is that called? Substation? Spencer, help.
A subway.
Subway! That's right. Thank you. Subway. And he got out and he's like, hey,
fresh.
He goes to what? Oh. He goes up to like random people and he's got like no shoes on. He's got like shitty clothes on. He's like, hey, please, I need to use your phone, and everyone's ignoring him. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? What blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, you're so fucking sheltered. Like, you don't know how people work. You think someone's just gonna help you. So this Batman is learning to be like, oh, I need to care about people, and blah blah blah. So it's like, it's good. Art's obviously fantastic. The way he draws women is perfect. Yeah, not a bad read. Just expecting more. I'm a little worried about how this is going to end because we only had one issue left. How the fuck do you wrap this up in a single issue?
Whoever knows. Please hold.
I'm pretty sure it's only supposed to be 4 issues.
So I read The Closet written by James Tynion, and
of course you'd read The Closet. Of course it's written by Tynion. Oh my fuck! Sorry.
It has absolutely nothing to do with the homo queers. The primary illustrator is Gavin Fullerton. It is a 3-issue miniseries. It's about a kid and their perspective about their parents having marital problems and moving across the country for job opportunities. Spit it out. Come on.
No, it's just this. So you promise it has nothing to do with gay stuff?
Like, I could stretch, but yeah, no, it really doesn't.
Oh, I know you can stretch.
No, he identifies with it because the parents locked the kid in the closet.
But it's just funny because you come out with, because you always talk about gay shit, and it's just, so I read The Closet by Tynion, and it's like, okay, so Closet, that sounds like gay stuff. Tynion, that's a gay man who is the only person who knows how to write gay people without it being like
dog shit.
Yeah, like dog shit or like virtue signaling. Like he, and I'm not going to get political, but you get what I'm trying to say, where it's the sense of like, if this is something that's a norm and this is something we accept as a society, why do we keep treating it like it's not? Like he treats it like, yeah, this is normal. What do you mean? Like, yeah, that's how you, if you want to write that stuff, that's how you write it. And he's the only one who knows how to write it.
Oh no, I agree. As like the world's second largest James Tynion IV, like under the table dick sucker. This series / I guess it's in a trade, but I read it in series, is fine. Which is the worst thing I've ever said for a James Tynion IV book ever in my life.
That's so weird.
Wait, isn't the Deviant done yet now?
Nope. Still waiting for issue number 9.
Ugh.
Which will almost certainly shoot up to the top of the list, but I guess the last issue could change that somehow. So The Closet is about a couple and their young, I think it's the 4-year-old boy, moving between houses, and how metaphorically the marriage struggles between the couple have basically made this child have hallucinations about there being monsters in his closet. More specific is too spoilery, and it's not even like the discussion isn't worth anything if you haven't read it, so it's not really worth it. The art is across the board fantastic. Fullerton does an incredible job. A great pairing with Tynion's writing. The primary perspective is the man in this hetero couple. And like, I hate to be like, haha, tuha, literally me, but he does indeed feel a little bit literally me during my previous relationship. Basically, I guess the crux of this is one time this guy goes into his kid's closet, and in that closet is a shoebox stored full of like Polaroids or whatever of a illicit, not affair, but an illicit relationship that he had during a part of his marriage that wasn't going too well. It's not ongoing, it's over. But because of that, this 4-year-old boy saw a dark figure in his closet, and then since then can't drop it. Like, he just always sees some figure in his closet or whatever. This was a gift from, not a gift. It was a randomly bestowed upon piece of literature by a mutual friend of the show, Jeff Lawrence. He was just clearing out his collection, and I thought it would be cool because it's written by Literal Daddy. And it's a good time. It's only 3 issues, so it's really brief. I think I read it today in maybe 40, 50 minutes. For Tynion, it feels really shallow. He is very consistently one of the most articulate and thorough writers of comics that I know of. Even if like the subject matter isn't what you're into, he's always on top of the ball. And this one is just kind of typical marital disputes, and the child is suffering because of it. And then, of course, it manifests as a physical creature. It was a good time. I'm not going to reread this. There's just not much else to grab onto. Like, whether it's because of, like a lot of other series, Tynion's perspective as a gay man, or the art has something really spectacular going on. It was just decent. And, you know, I bestow upon this the dreaded 3 out of 5. It was fun. I liked it, but I don't think I'll read it again probably ever.
Whoa.
And I got it for free, so I can't really complain. It is just a thing, you know?
That is the end of the show.
That is true.
We survived the chaos. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Please go to patreon.com/dimecomicbros network and subscribe under one of the 3 tiers that you find there, just like our friends Caitlin and Jeff Lawrence. They've been here for a while now, and they give us money and help keep this show happen almost every single week. I thank you to Jetpack Comics and Games for providing us our games and comics. They are the local comic shop found in Rochester, New Hampshire, and they are staffed by all kinds of helpful people that know all kinds of helpful things. So if you walk in there with a question about comics or games, they have somebody that can probably help you.
Kyle will talk to you about Plastic Man and the Almond Man.
Kyle is literally waifu, but he's a man. So, and taken. But, like, he's still waifu.
He would be a perfect addition to this podcast.
You're so right. It's so bad.
Yeah, he's so fucking weird like us. But he hides it really well.
He does.
Next week, I don't think we're recording, are we?
I think next week is the news because this episode got, I think, delayed ? There will be something. Just there. Trust.
The schedule is fucky.
Trust the process. There will be something from us next week.
I don't trust the process. That's what
I trust your balls.
Okay.
I trust your balls.
Come back next week.
I was at the bar with a girl. Yesterday.
Did she know that she was there with you?
Yeah, we had a really good time.